sure it's not a helicopter or anything. It was real, it looked real different than anything I've ever saw. It's kind of hard to explain, but it was kind of a silvery and then it kind of orange looking. And this thing went right down below the hills. It went just right out of nowhere. And when it was flying around, it kind of went up and down, and then it dashed over real fast to the hills, and then it landed. And the reason I think, it was something like that was because I've never seen anything like this before. And I know it wasn't a star or anything because this was bigger.
Now, which direction were you looking?
Okay, I was out in front first of our house. And then the thing went like around in a circle towards the back of the house.
Yes.
And then my mother was out in the back. And then I went in the back, and this thing was still in the air. And then I noticed it dropped, and it went right behind the hills. And that's right behind Valley Drive in Riverside.
Okay. About what time was it?
Oh, this is about, at least a half an hour ago, or a little longer.
Okay.
And there was a helicopter. After we had saw this, about 20 minutes later, a helicopter went right behind those hills with its big, light on it.
Yes.
And it, went all around the back of the hills and kept circling around the hills for at least 10 minutes. And then it shut its lights off, and then it left.
Could you tell whether that was a military helicopter?
My dad said it looked like a military helicopter, or at least a government helicopter.
Yes.
And I don't know what it was or anything. I just know that these things can be true.
Okay, now you were outside at the time.
First I was sitting inside watching TV, and you can, see from the back, of our house.
Yes.
And I was looking out, and it looked like a star first.
Now, which direction were you looking at?
Oh, gosh. Oh, I don't know if it's the west or the east. Just a minute. Hold on, please.
Okay.
It was, my sister pointed me the way. It's the east way.
Okay.
And this thing, I looked at it real good, and then I went outside in the front because then it went that way. So I ran outside real quick to see what it was, and this thing went all around by the trees in the front, and then it moved back, and it went right around to the back of our house. And it's not right, down in our backyard or nothing. It's at least about 5 blocks away in the back, and it dropped down in some hills. And we've been, watching it and everything, and it kind of, made the sky, kind of light up just a little bit, not very much or anything.
Yes.
And that's why I think it was, something like a UFO.
Okay. Do you have any idea of just how close you were to that object?
Oh, like I said, maybe at least maybe a mile,
okay.
5 blocks or a mile. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of shook up a little bit from seeing this.
Sure. Well, do you have any idea of how high it was when you first spotted it?
You know how high a helicopter goes?
Yes.
Well, it was about that high, or maybe a little less high, not that high. It was about as high as a helicopter.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any idea, can you compare it with anything for size?
Oh, no. It was, like I said, at least 4 times bigger than a star in the sky.
Yes.
It was at least 4 times bigger than that. I'm not really sure about what the size was, but when it hovered down, went down in the back, it kind of got a little bigger when it got closer. And then it just automatically dropped out of nowhere. I can't see it now or anything. And then I heard a helicopter going over our house real low, and I went outside, and the helicopter was flashing its lights all around and everything.
Okay. And how many were in the party who saw this?
Oh, it's just me and my mom saw the thing land.
Did you hear any sound?
No, it wasn't. There was no helicopter sound, no plane or anything. It was as high as an airplane, my mom said.
Right.
Okay.
Did the object have a definite shape?
No, I couldn't really tell. It was just, a silvery and then like orange light. And it went kind of blinking, and then it went down.
Okay, did you see any small colored lights on it?
No, I didn't.
No openings of any kind?
No. I'm so shook up I don't remember all of it.
Okay.
I just, remember seeing it. And then it went right down below the hills, and that's where, was. And we were out there all the time and everything. And then we come back in the house, and then that's when I heard the helicopter, come over our house real low.
Yes.
So.
Did anything strange happen in the area prior to the time that this was seen?
No. What's that? Clicking. Oh, no, nothing happened, nothing, the lights didn't go out, the telephone didn't, disconnect or nothing like that. But if they do, you can believe I'll be scared. Have you had anything reported like this?
No, not from your area.
Oh, okay.
You didn't get any pictures?
Oh, no, I wasn't interested in pictures. I was just, kind of shook up about this, and so I thought, well, maybe I'll just call the sheriff's department and see what,
Sure.
So.
What was your general attitude towards UFOs before you saw this?
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, I believe in them.
Uh-huh.
I really do, because I read the papers a lot, and I never saw one before, but I do read the papers, and I do believe them.
How old are you?
20.
Okay. And there were how many other people who saw it?
Just my mom.
Your
me
mom.
and my mom.
Okay.
There's 4 of us in the house, but just me and my mom went outside because I called her first to come out and look. And she saw it. First she thought it was a plane, and then when it didn't make no sound, and it got, wasn't the shape of an airplane or even the size of an airplane, that's when we started, kind of getting curious.
Right.
So, anyways, I just thought the best thing was to do, report it.
Well, we sure appreciate this call, and if we get any additional information on this, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Okay, would you? Any time in the night's fine with us.
Okay, swell.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I want to report a UFO.
Okay.
Okay, early this evening, I seen, it was real weird. It was like a big light, and it just lit the whole sky up, and then it went straight up in the air and disappeared. And a lot of my neighbors seen it, and then my dad just got back from working, and he said that he's seen it, and it looked like a big plane, and it just lighted the whole sky up.
Okay, about what time did this happen?
Okay, when I seen it, it was about 9:30, and then when my dad seen it, it was about 15 to 11.
Okay, then you must have seen 2 different incidents here then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, just starting right from the beginning, just how did you first notice this object?
Okay, well, see, we were outside, and I was talking to one of my cousins on the phone, and I seen something real weird, like a spaceship, and I just thought, nah, And then all of a sudden, this big light was coming towards our house, and it got bright and just lit the whole sky up, and then it just shot up in the air and disappeared. So I called the police station down here, and they said they had a couple reports about it, and they go there to check up on it. And then they never notified us or nothing about it. So my dad got home and he told me that he saw it, and so we called the police station again, and they gave me this number to call and tell you that we've seen this. Okay,
now you say that when you first saw this object, it appeared to be coming right toward you?
Yeah, it came right towards our house, and then it just shot up in the air, and it disappeared, and it lit the whole sky when it was coming to our house.
Did this go straight up?
Straight up, and then it disappeared.
Until it just went out of sight?
Yeah, and when my dad saw it, he said it looked like a big plate, and it just lit the whole sky.
A big plate?
Uh-huh.
Okay, now, did it have any shape when it was coming towards you?
It just looked like, it had like an oval shape.
Oval, okay. Was this all light?
It was light, and then it just...
Were there any colored lights or anything?
Not when I saw it, but I can ask my dad. My dad's sitting right here. Okay, Dad, when you saw it, did it have any colored lights to it? My dad says when he saw it, it had all kinds of colors.
Okay.
Purple, red, he said.
Okay, now which direction did this come from?
Okay, when I seen it, it came from the east.
Uh-huh.
And when my dad seen it, it was coming from the north.
Okay, now when your dad was watching it, did it also go straight up into the sky?
Dad, when you seen it, did it also go straight up into the sky? My dad says when he seen it, it came to the ground, and it just lit up the ground, and then it just shot straight back up in the air, he said.
Okay.
And a couple of my friends called over here to see if I seen it, and I told them yes.
Okay, now you say you were outdoors when this happened, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you have...
My dad was outdoors when he saw it, but I was indoors. I wasn't about to go outside.
Oh, I see. Well, you didn't go out even after it shot up into the sky?
I wasn't going to dare go outside.
Oh, okay. Did you hear any sound at all?
Well, see, when it happened, our horses and our dogs were acting real weird.
Uh-huh.
Like, our dogs started barking, and our horses started barking and acting real weird. And then I heard this whistling sound, me and my sister, so I just looked out the window, and that big thing was just coming right for the house.
Oh, in other words, this is what drew your attention to it.
Yeah, and it just scared me. I just go, wow, what am I going to do?
Uh-huh. Okay, what color was that?
Okay, when I seen it, it was like a silverish light color.
Okay, do you have any idea of just how close it came to you before it turned up?
Okay, it wasn't very far from my house. I see about 100 to 200 feet away from us.
Okay, do you live out in the country?
Uh-huh, I do.
Okay. And where was your dad when he saw it?
Out in the country. Just, okay, it was just about a mile from my house when he seen it.
And it came down from the sky first?
Uh-huh.
And then it just, did he see it actually turn and then go back up into the sky?
Okay, Daddy, when you seen it, did it actually turn and go back up to the sky? My dad says when he seen it, it just lit the ground and shot right back up.
Okay. Would you ask him how long he watched it?
How long did you watch it? For about 10 minutes.
Okay. And he saw it about what time? 11:15, did you say?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Would you ask your dad if the colors changed at all while he was watching it?
Okay, when you seen it, Daddy, when you were watching it, did the colors change? He said, yep.
Okay, I wonder if we could talk to your dad.
Okay, here he is.
Yeah, hello?
Good evening.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could get a description of exactly what you saw with yours.
Well, see, I was out there, there's friends of mine that were out there hauling hay, and I was supposed to go out there and help them. So I went out there and I shined my light out there on the hay field, and I saw this big object, like it lit up the whole hay field.
Yes.
And the colors changed from green to purple and orange. And I stood there and watched it for a while, and it lit up the ground, a big area.
Yes.
And then it shot straight up, and I watched it as it went up into the sky, and then it got out of sight, it disappeared. And when I got home, my kids had seen it, and the horses were acting up, the dogs were barking like wolves, and everything was going crazy around here.
Okay, now the object that you saw, did you see this come down out of the sky?
Yeah, I saw it come out of the sky, and it lit up the ground,
Uh-huh.
Just like when you shine a light, and you're like a flashlight, and you're looking for something, and you shine it in the object you're looking for.
Right.
That's the way this came out of the sky and lit up a whole big area. And it scared the hell out of me. I knew it wasn't no light, no 4th of July firecracker or anything like that, or it wasn't no airplane or no helicopter or anything like that. It was something weird, something strange. And the kids called the police station here in Roy, Utah, and they said they were about the third one that called in. And when I got in the house, I told them about it, or they told me, and then we got to talking, and I saw this damn thing, And it wasn't no big imagination or anything like that. This really happened.
Okay, now did the object that you saw have a shape to it?
Well, I'd say like, let's say 2 plates put together,
Rim to rim?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it was like.
Did you hear any sound associated with that?
Yeah, kind of like, how would I put it? Kind of like a buzzing sound, kind of a real weird, strange noise,
Uh-huh.
I don't really know how to explain it, but it was kind of like a whistling, Like when the wind whistling through a window, like when you...
Yes.
something like that, but only louder.
Okay, now do you have any idea of how far that object was from you when it was hovering above the ground?
Well, it seemed like real close. It really scared the hell out of me, and so I got the hell out of there, out of that hayfield, and went on home,
Uh-huh.
And it disappeared, it went, I could see it, but it was really moving at a tremendous speed, it was really going like crazy, But to me, it looked like it was searching for something, and then it shot up in the sky and disappeared.
Well, was this object using a shaft of light or a spotlight of any kind?
Well, the lights, they changed. It was a bright light. When I first saw it, it was a real bright light, just like how you call it, like a spotlight.
Yes.
And then the colors changed from green to purple and orange and all kinds of different colors. And then it shot out up in the sky, and it got out of sight. It just disappeared.
Okay. Can you give an estimate on its size?
Oh, I would say just a giant, two plates put together. Oh, they were pretty big. I'd say it seemed like about as big as a house.
Okay.
And it was pretty big, I'd say, it was a pretty huge sight,
Okay. Were you using any power machinery out in the field?
No. See, this friend of mine was out there. They were running a generator that was run by gas.
Yes.
But when I got there, they were gone, so I shone my spotlight out there to see what they were doing, but they weren't there anymore.
Uh-huh.
And at first, when I first saw it, I thought it was them working out there on the field. But it wasn't, because I turned around and called him, called my buddy, and he says, no, we've been gone for a while. And I told him about this bullshit, and he just laughed.
Well, that thing must have been fairly close then.
It was. It really was. Well, it lit up the whole big area on the ground. It lit up the whole big area on the ground.
Uh-huh. Okay.
This might seem like a joke, but I'll tell you, this ain't no joke.
No, I can tell by the tone of your voice.
What surprised me about this, the dogs were barking like wolves too, and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And the horses was going crazy, and everything was going crazy around here.
Was there any electrical interference in the area?
No, I would say no. And the Roy police station, they had 3 reports on this.
Okay. Now, I wonder if you'd ask your daughter how big she thought the object was that she saw.
The object that you, just a second, I'm asking her now. The object that you saw, how big was it? They said it was really huge, but they describe it as an oval shape.
Uh-huh. Okay.
They said like it was really a huge thing.
Now, do you feel that what you saw and what your daughter saw were the same object? I notice there's quite a time difference here.
Yeah, I would say so. This thing was, I know a plane when I see one. I know a helicopter when I see one.
Uh-huh.
This was something strange, something weird.
Is there anything special in your area, any special surface features, either natural or man-made, that these things might be watching? Is there anything in the way of hydroelectric dams in that area?
There's Hill Air Force Base here just about 10 miles to the south of me, and the Defense Depot about 8 miles north of me.
Okay.
And as far as I know, that's about it. They got this radio stations around here and stuff like that.
Yes.
I can't imagine there's something, I've never seen anything like it.
Okay.
This is kind of spooky, Some people might think, well, he's crazy, he's been drinking something or stuff like that, but I tell you, this ain't no joke.
How are the weather conditions there tonight?
It's fair, it's been warm. It's been pretty hot over here.
Okay. Well, sir, we sure appreciate this report, and if we get any additional information on this, including other eyewitness accounts that might come in, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Okay.
And if we need any additional information, could we get back to you?
Yeah. See, I work for the Defense Depot Army.
Oh.
And I don't get home till I'm home by 4, a little after 4. Between 4 and 4:30, you can reach me.
Fine. Very good.
Except for tomorrow, I got to go pick up my wife. She's coming. She's in Arizona. She'll be home. I got to go pick her up at 7:35 tomorrow. So I won't be available tomorrow. But then after that, any night.
Fine. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
I had a strange experience last evening, and I thought maybe I'd relate it to you folks.
Okay, I'd like to hear about it.
It's strange. My daughter and I were sleeping on the patio.
Uh-huh.
It must have been, I'd say, 3 o'clock this morning. And I was sleeping. I was trying to wake up, but I couldn't. And about 12 feet from my head, 10, 12 feet from my head, I could hear this very well-running motor, real smooth running motor. And it seemed like it was in one place,
Yes.
And then almost a few seconds after that, my daughter, she's only 11, but she shook me and said, Mom, look at that. And she pointed, and I woke up, and then she pointed to the same place I heard this motor. But for about 3 seconds, it's all along, and as I woke up, and focused my eyes, I just didn't really see it for about a matter of 3 seconds. And she said, oh, Mom, I got electrical shock. And she'd been shot on a barbed wire fence one time. And she said, that's what it felt like.
Uh-huh.
And she said that it felt like that, but it's only a little worse than that. And she's seen this thing, and she says that it was brown. And it was about probably 8 feet, she said half the size of our patio. So that would probably be about 8 feet. So she didn't seem to see any lights on it, but she could see it.
Okay, was this fairly close to the ground?
I would say it was, I'd say 15, 20 feet above the ground. About 20 feet above the ground.
Uh-huh.
Our patio was, I'd say, 5 feet off the ground. And then I would say it was another 8 feet above it. Well, just about 15 to 20 feet, I'm not too sure. But anyway, it was a very strange experience, and it left my daughter very upset. She was, shaking for quite some time afterwards. But she definitely, felt the electrical shock. I asked her. She didn't think that, she could have been dreaming. And she said, no, Mom, I felt that electrical shock. And then she said, I couldn't seem to move during that time. And then as soon as I got a electrical shock, so I turned around, and there she said, I've seen that thing. She said, I only seen it for 3 seconds about. She said, I just barely seen it, and it just disappeared so quickly.
Now, when you say disappear, did it move away? Or did it just snap out?
No, it moved away, she said.
Moved away, okay.
She said it moved away because she said she could see it go towards the creek, but she said so fast.
Uh-huh.
And like she said, it didn't have any lights on it that she could see. It just seemed like it was brown.
Did it have a definite shape?
What shape would you say it was? She said she just can't tell you.
Uh-huh.
That she just doesn't really know.
Well, probably didn't have time to get a good look at it. Approximately how close was it?
I would say, this sounds strange, but I would say it wasn't over 10 feet above my head, or even 8 feet, to my right is where I heard the motor, and I could just feel it. It's almost in my sleep, As I tried to wake up, I could just feel that there.
Uh-huh.
And as she woke up, she pointed to the exact place that I could hear this motor in my sleep, I know it sounds so strange the way I'm telling it.
Not really.
But it's best I could say. It just seemed like it was 10 to 8 feet. I could feel it exactly where it was in my sleep. I wasn't really sleeping yet. I was sleeping, I guess, because I wasn't awake either.
Do you feel that you were, as though you were under some sort of paralyzing effect or hypnotic effect?
I just couldn't say because I don't know. Like I say, I could hear the motor, but I didn't seem too concerned or too. I could hear the motor, but I didn't seem to be, which is, I don't know. I couldn't say that. I just don't know what it was.
Okay, can you compare that sound with anything that you know of?
Well, we live in a ranch, and I'm used to motors, and I know it sounded like a motor that ran very well, a very smooth-running motor.
Was this a humming effect?
Not a humming effect, no. No, it wasn't. Now you got me thinking this after how it did sound more like a propeller effect. But very smooth, no. very smooth.
Yes.
Extremely smooth. I should put it that way, because I heard engines we drive a new, a new Cadillac, and it has a smooth running motor. You can have them turn over how smooth they'll run.
Yes.
But this is a heavier sound, but smoother even than that.
Okay.
Just a very smooth running.
But it was this sound that woke you up.
It's a sound I could hear there that I knew that thing was whatever it was there, but I couldn't seem to get awake to,
Uh-huh.
But then with my daughter, then she, hit my arm, Mom, look. And if I turned around to look, I just couldn't seem to, says, Mom, I got an electrical shock, but she got the shock before she touched me, before she woke me up. She said she got the shock, electrical shock that lasted, and when that shock went away, well, then she turned, and she was able to turn around and touch me, and wake me up, shake me, and said, look. But I didn't see it. She seen it for a matter of 3 seconds. She said, it's just a matter of probably 3 seconds, and it moved away.
Okay. Have you had anything happen to you since that happened this morning? Anything strange around the house?
No.
Okay.
All right. But it was such a strange experience and a very real experience. I'm not prone to imagination at all, and I don't think I am either. So.
Well, this electrical shock that she said she had, we've had cases like this before.
Oh, have you?
Yes, very definitely.
Well, what in the world? Maybe they're relating pictures to their planet unless we relate pictures from Mars to ours.
That's one of the things we're trying to find out.
I had a laugh at Dale there. I said, they probably showed you the screen wherever their planet is. Now, this is an Earthling. You guys had a laugh about this morning, but last night it was very related.
Oh, sure. Well, you're suddenly confronted with these startling unknown things, and it can be very traumatic for a lot of people.
You really do believe that there is something like this?
Oh, no question in our mind about that, yes.
Well, for goodness sake. Well, last night's the first time that, we've ever experienced anything like that. But it was a very real experience. An electrical shock, you say that you have, other people have received it?
Yes, very definitely.
There were no after effects of any kind?
No. It doesn't really seem to do any physical or mental damage of any kind. We think that it's probably associated with the system that they use to control their vehicles. It's kind of an electrical field.
Control their vehicle?
Pardon?
You mean, you say that they use that electricity to control their vehicle?
It's a form of energy, yes.
And you think that's why she would have received that electrical shock, because it was close?
I think so, yes.
Or why wouldn't I have received it, I wonder?
I don't know. And then there have been cases, too, where we have felt that it was deliberately directed to attract attention.
Well, and we live right there's an elevator there. If you want to pinpoint this in a map of any kind that you have at Revere, it's a green elevator, and I'm sure it is on your maps if you have maps that really have the small.
Uh-huh. Okay. And what was your age?
I'm 33.
33. And your daughter's age?
She's 11.
11. Okay. And this happened about 3 o'clock?
I would say it was around 3 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, can we get back to you if we need more information?
Yes, I don't think you want to talk to my husband. He thinks that's... He was very upset when I told him this morning, so that's crazy to talk that way and to think that way, He was very upset about, even... But I told him at the breakfast table this morning before he went down to the ranch to harvest down there. I told him what had happened. He said, that's the craziest thing he'd ever heard of. I said, don't even, speak about it, don't talk about it anymore. I don't want to hear any more about it. But it just happened, and we did tell him about it, but he doesn't think that, that it could possibly be anything like that.
Well, these things are happening all the time, all over the world.
They're happening all over the world?
Oh, we get reports from countries all over this planet.
Then apparently there must be, you believe there is life on other planets someplace?
Oh, yes. Very definitely.
Have they ever harmed anyone in any way?
Not deliberately. There have been cases where people have had, like injuries to their eyes because they're looking at these things. Apparently when their fields are built up, they're looking at, actually all they're looking at is a super bright light. And they're so anxious to try to see what's out there that they just look at it too long, just like looking at the sun too long. And some people end up having a little eye damage, but other than that, well...
Yeah. Then like last night, Delray said that this object was, brown, and she didn't seem to think it had any lights on it, but she could still see it.
Uh-huh.
That seemed kind of different. It was kind of strange. That I asked her, how could you see it if it didn't have any lights on it? She said, well, I don't know, but I've seen it.
How was the weather over there?
Oh, the weather was... Last night it was warm last night.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't really as cloudy as it is this morning. It was a little overcast maybe, but there were, you could see the stars.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't a real dark night, but it wasn't a real light night either.
Yes, okay. We're curious to know where you got our number.
Pardon?
We're curious to know where you got our number.
Oh, through the Air Force.
Oh.
I'd have to look up here again to see what that is. But they had, I thought maybe they'd seen something on their screen or something last night.
Fairchild Air Force Base?
Yeah, I can give you the number if you just wait.
No, that's not necessary.
Oh. But anyway, I thought maybe they might possibly, have picked up something on their radar screen.
Right.
Something came in. I thought, well, surely it would go through, through there somehow. But they said no, they never. Wouldn't your radar screens pick up things like this?
Yes, but then anything, of course, that they pick up on radar would be classified, and it would have to be released. The information would have to be released from a much higher source.
Oh, I see.
So that's the problem there. Well, we sure appreciate this call, and like I say, if we get any additional information on this, we'll get back to you and let you know about it.
Okay, well, thank you for talking with me, too.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I was wondering, has there been any report of a flying saucer last night around the college?
We had one report out of Colorado just a moment. Did you want the location of that?
Not Colorado. Caldwell.
Oh, Caldwell. Excuse me. No, ma'am, we didn't. Did you see something?
Well, my husband was coming home from work last night about 2:30.
Uh-huh.
And he's coming through the college, and the pickup lit up real bright, and he thought, well, God, I picked up a cop, I wonder what I'd done wrong.
Yes.
And so he stopped and got out to see what he'd done, And he said that it was this flying object above the pickup, and it just kind of let out a puff of black smoke and just flew off. And he came in the house scared to death. I was just wondering if anybody else had.
No, we haven't had any reports from there. Of course, that doesn't mean that someone else didn't see it. Do you have a description of the object?
Well, he said it wasn't round, it wasn't square. He said he didn't know how to describe it.
Uh-huh. Would it be possible to get back to him and get a description?
Well,
or does he want to talk to anyone about it?
He's working.
I see.
He'd like to talk to somebody about it, but he said, I didn't believe him. He said, if you don't believe me, nobody else will believe me,
Uh-huh.
And so I told him I didn't want to believe him, so just don't talk about it. And anyway, it scared my kids to death, so I just as soon not have it talked about it on here when they was up all night because it was scared them so bad.
I see.
But if I could have him call you and tomorrow, all right, and explain it to you?
Yes, we appreciate that very much. Then, of course, if we get any more information on it, well, then we can exchange back to you.
Okay, then I'll have him do that. I'll have him call you tomorrow, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, say, my wife called you yesterday about this object I seen up in the air.
Oh, yes, in Caldwell.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was coming home from work about, it was a little after 2 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, when I pulled off the main drag over here, I thought there was a darn cop behind me, followed me about 2 blocks. But it was lighting my pickup up brighter all the time. And so I got down there just a block away from the house, and I decided, well, see what the devil is the matter. And I thought I saw a red light come on, so I stopped. There was nobody behind me at all. It was just lighting my pickup up, really light, just like daylight out there.
Yes.
And so I got out of the car, and then I heard a little noise in the air, so I looked up in the air, and this big vapor, and this outfit just took straight off towards Hoffs up here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about all I can tell you. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of scared the devil out of me when I first seen it.
But you did see an object?
Yeah, I saw an object.
Okay, now, did that object have any particular shape?
Just like to me, it was kind of square.
Uh-huh.
It had orange lights on it.
Okay. Did you, by any chance, count the number of lights?
Well, I noticed there's about 2 to 3 on each side.
I see, okay.
And when it took off, it left the big vapor in the air. And it didn't even follow it, just like a diesel when it shifts gears.
Yes.
Just let the big diesel, like that in it, and just took off towards Hoss up there.
Okay, did those lights change color when it took off?
No, I didn't notice it.
They just stayed the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear any sound?
Just when it took off. When it let that vapors off, when I stopped to pick up and climbed out.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of a little rumble is all it was.
Okay. Now, could you estimate the size of that by comparing it with anything?
Oh, heaven knows, I couldn't. It was pretty good size.
Okay.
Well, from looking down here, I mean, I couldn't tell you just make how big it was.
Okay, could you estimate how close it was to you?
Well, just above my pickup. It was, quite a ways up. I couldn't tell you just how far it was up, but, I seen a good glimpse just of the lights. I mean, I got a good view of the lights. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, uh-huh.
But that's about all I got of it. I couldn't see nothing else.
Okay, now you were attracted by this, the fact that this thing lit up the area around you?
Yeah, look, I thought there was a car following me.
Uh-huh.
A cop followed me. So I just pulled over to the side of the road. I don't know, I thought maybe I wonder what the devil was taking place. But
Okay.
I did go right on down in front of my house here and let my wife see it.
Well, it followed you right to your house then?
Well, just a block away until I stopped up here to a crossroad.
Oh, I see.
And I wonder what the devil was for me, so I got out to find out because, heck, it was pretty light out there, and I wonder what the devil.
Now, was all this light just behind you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you...
It coming up in there, I got my little, something on my camper, and it lighted up the inside of my camper.
Oh, I see. Okay. And that's all you could see at that time was the light?
Yeah, and I thought it was a cop behind me.
I see. Okay. Did you have any problem with your engine at the time this happened? The engine of the truck? Was there any problem with the ignition?
Well, no, I didn't notice.
Did you have your radio on?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I didn't have no radio on or anything.
Did you have any unusual physical sensations while that light was in the area?
Well, it just scared me a little bit. I wonder what the devil I'd done wrong, or, I kind of wondered about the only thing.
Yes, okay.
Everybody might think I'm a liar.
No, well, we deal with these things every day, so...
I told a couple, 3 guys over at the plant over there, and they one of them did believe me. The other, he kind of doubt. He says, I've heard of them, but he says, I've never seen any of them.
Uh-huh. And nothing has happened to you since you saw this thing? Okay.
No, I'm just kind of wondering about it is all.
Did you see any openings in this object?
No, I didn't. All I know is when I climbed out of the pickup, the lights went out.
And then the thing took off?
Took off and left a big vapor behind it.
Uh-huh. And did you actually see it just disappear in the distance?
Yeah, I just went over so far and then I couldn't see it no further.
Okay.
Looks like it either went straight up or something. I don't know. Just.
Okay, what was your opinion of these objects previous to this?
Well, I never did. I'm kind of hard believing them.
Okay, does this make you a believer?
Yeah, pretty good. You know, it's kind of hard to tell anybody this because, you know, they think I'm full of talk or something.
Yeah, well, okay. We're curious to know where your wife got our number.
That's from the police station.
Police station, okay.
Yeah, she called the police station about it.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate this report, and if we get any additional information on this, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, well, it took off toward Napa when I seen it, just off that way, and then I didn't see it anymore. It didn't go too far before it was clean outside.
Uh-huh. Okay. Can we get back to you if we need additional information on this?
Yeah.
Very good.
You have to get me before 3 o'clock.
Before 3. Okay, sir, we thank you again.
You bet.
Right.
Right.
Bye.
Have you heard anything like that before? I mean, about them?
Oh, yes. Yes.
About the vapor and everything?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I was kind of wondering myself.
Oh, yes, these things are being seen all around the planet.
Huh. Well, that sure gave me a scare last night.
I imagine, yes.
I was kind of shaking. I was shaking, though, you know, when I seen them lights now a little bit. But I never did have a long one there, you know, follow me like that. I get shook up the way it was.
Right.
But, I mean, I just a little stunned.
Now, was that object hovering directly overhead?
Yeah, just darn near direct and going top me. Well, you know, I was coming down with a college there. They followed me. Oh, it's just a little bit off from me, you know, not very much.
Yes.
It looked like it was just pretty near down straight up.
We thank you again.
Okay.
Right. Right. Bye. UFO Reporting Center?
Yes, could you give me some information? There's some kind of object in the sky, and we were wondering if there's anything reported about it. We're over in the Linwood down here, and there's something shiny up there. It's long.
Okay, what part of the sky is this in?
What is it, the northeast? Northeast, Dad? Hey! I think he said the northeast. Yeah, the northeast area, and we're in Linwood.
Uh-huh. Well, we don't have any on it.
There's something up there. We don't know what it is. We've never seen anything like it.
Okay, now would you give me a precise description of what you're looking at?
Oh, do you know what it is? All I know is it's long and it looks... It's long and shiny, that's all we can say. That's all we can say is it's long and shiny. Like silver? Yeah. Like silver. And it's moving real slow.
In which direction?
It's going what? Northeast, didn't he say? He said it's in the northeast area. Well, they're out there watching it with binoculars. Some friends of ours told us about it. All we know is it's long and shining and looks silver.
Uh-huh.
It's going real slow. It's going upward.
Oh.
We're just wondering if it was reported. We don't even know what it is. We've never seen it before. Then it's going northeast, and it's going up real slow.
And this is the long silver object in the northern sky?
Pardon?
Long silver object in the northern sky?
Yes. It's going northeast.
Okay, what time did you spot that about?
What, about 5 minutes ago? Yeah, but I mean, we just spotted it 5 minutes ago. We just spotted it 5 minutes ago.
Okay, where did you get our number?
Pardon?
Where did you get our number?
I called the operator, and then she had me connected with the police or somebody, and then they gave me this number.
Okay, we'll get on this and see if we can't find out what it is, and if we do, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Okay. Thank you very
you.
much.
Bye-bye. We would like to talk to someone who watched that object with binoculars.
Oh, just a minute. Did someone watch a UFO?
Hello. Turn it up. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling for the UFO Reporting Center.
Yes, sir.
And we'd like to talk to someone who watched that object with binoculars.
You are speaking to...
Fine. Would you describe exactly what you saw?
Okay. It was over in the in the northeast area, like over... I live in Linwood, okay?
Right.
And it was in the northeast area, which would be actually over Downey and Paramount.
Okay.
And it looked like it was going straight up, but yet it kept drifting this way. And it was in 3 stages at one time. In other words, several different times, but
right.
When you could see it the best is when it came into 3 stages. And it was real shiny, then it would glimmer off, then it was a real loud, a real bright gloss,
Yes.
Then it would kind of a bluish cast, then a silver cast. Then it would fade away, then it would come back. Right, and it would come and go. Okay.
All right, the last time we seen it was going off in
Right.
the southeast direction.
So what it was, we don't know. In fact, we've never seen anything like it before.
Okay, now which direction was the object traveling?
Well, more or less straight up.
Straight up.
To our knowledge, but it was drifting this way.
Uh-huh.
Which was actually right over the city of Linwood towards the last. In other words, the last part we could see of it.
Okay, now did it have any definite given shape? Did it hold any particular shape?
Well, it just looked like a silver bullet. In other words, like a rocket.
Okay.
It had 2 or 3 phases to it.
Uh-huh.
And when it came bright, then it would separate, see?
Oh, it separated into 3 separate sections?
Yes, sir. This is what we couldn't figure out.
We can verify it through our neighbors.
And we can also verify that through our neighbors.
Uh-huh. Now, but they all stayed more or less together, and then when it became dull, it was one again?
No, when it was real bright, it was all stayed together, then it faded into 3 stages.
Oh, I see. Is there a possibility that what you were watching was 3 separate objects, and then they all...
No, sir, it was all one.
Then all one when they got bright?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Okay. And did it actually disappear upward? Did it go out of sight up?
No, sir, it didn't go out of sight. In fact, the last part we could see of it, it was drifting towards the city of Compton when we last seen it.
Yeah.
But it didn't go out of sight when you quit looking at it?
No, sir.
Okay, okay.
It kept getting bright, then it would dim, see?
Uh-huh. Okay, now, just out of a quick guess, do you have any idea of how high that thing was?
Oh, I would roughly say 5 miles, maybe.
Okay.
8.
Okay, now, how about size? Could you compare it with any particular aircraft?
No, sir, I really couldn't. I tell you the truth about it, I really couldn't.
It looked like a bullet.
I really couldn't tell you about that.
Okay.
It's hard to say on that, you know what I mean?
Okay, fine. Did you get our number from your local police?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we'll keep working on this, and if we get anything on it, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Mm-hmm. See, it was actually, in other words, let's put it this way, it would be over the city of Whittier.
Okay.
And Commerce. City of Commerce and Whittier.
Okay.
When we first spotted it. But when we last seen it, it was right over the city of Linwood.
Okay.
It was headed, in other words, toward the city of Compton when we last seen it.
Right.
In which it actually disappeared. But it seemed like it was going straight up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Goodbye.
I appreciate your calling.
Okay.
You don't have no idea what it was?
Not yet. Okay.
Okay, we appreciate it.
Right. Bye-bye. Reporting Center?
Yes, sir. This is insurance manager at California Institute of Technology.
Yes.
And my secretary was telling me that she and her husband observed a UFO up over the JPL region last night. Now, she also indicated that there was a helicopter below it, but attempting to shine a light in the direction of it. And that all of a sudden this just disappeared. So whether it was a weather balloon or a UFO, we don't know. But I'd like to turn her over to you, and then she can describe it to you.
Fine, thank you.
Yes, sir. Just one moment, please. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, it was about 10:30 last night, and I don't live very far from JPL, and it was a white object. It wasn't white. The light was very bright, very bright. At first we thought it was an airplane because we were just out looking. And then later it started, well, it was moving anyway from the beginning. Then later it stood still for a long length of time. And so we knew it was an airplane then. And then one of the helicopters was shining a light up at it. And then all of a sudden it disappeared.
It disappeared? You mean it just went out?
Yes, it just went out. It just disappeared while the helicopter had the light on it. And then the helicopter kept flying around looking, but he couldn't see anything because it was gone.
Uh-huh.
And it was kind of green at the top. I could see little green lights, and then at the bottom it was like little red lights.
And were these lights continuous and stationary?
Yeah, they were. They weren't stationary. They were like off and on.
I see, okay.
Right. My husband has observed it also.
Now, did this object have any particular shape?
All I could see, it was so high up, all I could tell is that it was round.
Uh-huh. Now, this shaft of light from the helicopter, in your opinion, did it ever reach the object?
Well, it was up there close to it.
It was?
Looked from where we were standing. We couldn't really tell, but I know it was close to it because the helicopter kept flying around it.
Uh-huh.
And then it kept, shining the light on it. And then the thing just disappeared when it went down a little bit, and then it disappeared.
Okay. Do you have any estimate on the size of this object? Can you compare it with anything for size?
No, well, the light of it was too big to be an airplane light because we knew that. And then when it stood still, we really knew it wasn't an airplane. But the size of it, it's hard to really judge.
Yes, I know. Estimates are very
It wasn't real large. It wasn't.
Uh-huh. Okay, now, did you actually see this object moving when you first spotted it?
Right, at first we saw it moving. Because my husband said, look at the airplane. And then he wondered if it was an airplane because we saw it moving. It was moving slow. And then it got not too far from JPL because, like I said, I don't live that far from there.
Uh-huh.
And it was on that side of the sky. Anyway, to the north.
Okay, and that was seen by you and your husband?
Right, and then it was also seen by a helicopter.
Right, okay.
You haven't heard anything about it?
Not yet. Who's speaking? This is UFO Reporting Center in Washington.
The what center?
The UFO Reporting Center?
Oh, yeah, just a second.
Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to ask you a few more questions regarding your sighting.
Okay.
How long did you watch that object?
Let me see. How long did we watch that? It must have been about 15 to 20 minutes. It was moving around, and then it must have been about 15 to 20 minutes we were looking at it, that I was, and my husband stayed outside looking.
Okay. Now, in relation to that helicopter, when did you spot the helicopter? Did you actually see it come into the area?
Yes, and it shined its light on it.
Did the helicopter, now when you first spotted the object as it's moving into the area, did the helicopter follow that object into the area?
Yes, the helicopter with his light, he, shined his light up at it. And then he just kept shining it around, and he circled around it and shined it up at the object. And then the object started coming down a little bit, then it just disappeared.
Well, then the helicopter and the object came into your view at the same time?
No, the object was first seen.
And then the helicopter?
And then we saw a helicopter come up.
Okay, fine. Do you have any idea of the time gap between the time you saw the object and the time that you saw the chopper?
Do you know, Marshall?
Must have been a matter of maybe it's hard to tell, maybe a minute or so. Two.
Okay.
Because evidently they had been scanning the sky and saw the thing too. And then that's why the helicopter probably
That's
came.
very obvious, yes. Right.
And that's why we knew we weren't just imagining anything, because when we saw the helicopter, we said, well, yes, we're quite sure that it must have been something strange.
Right.
It did look weird. It was just a real bright, it was just a bright object. At first we thought it might have been an airplane, but then it was too big to have an airplane light.
Right.
And then we kept looking at it, then all of a sudden it stopped moving. And that's when we really knew it wasn't an airplane, because an airplane wouldn't stop in the middle of the sky for that length of time.
Do you feel that object was definitely hovering over JPL?
Well, I don't want to be specific. Well, like I said, we don't live far from JPL.
Okay. Is that located in Pasadena? Or Altadena? What is the exact location? Could you give me that? The cross street?
Where the sighting was? Or
No, where JPL is located.
They're located on Orange Grove Drive.
Orange Grove Drive, okay.
Yeah, they're located on Orange Grove Drive, behind, up in the hill.
Oh, okay, fine.
But I know it stood there in that spot for a long time.
Right.
For about five. When you're looking at something like that, you just can't really be sure.
It wasn't no 5 minutes. It wasn't. Huh?
Okay.
See, we both saw it. That's why it's kind of...
Well, it's very hard to keep track of time when you're excited watching something like that. Right. Well, we thank you again for talking to us.
Okay,
was it something that, well, it must have been something that was, if you're interested, I think it's something that, it's hard to tell, huh? You just investigate.
Right. Right now we're in the process of investigating.
Okay, then.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, this is Ventura Sheriff's Office, Ventura, California.
Yes, sir.
And evidently it's been reported last night a UFO in Ventura County.
Yes.
And okay, we just had another reporting of something that occurred yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you the information. It was approximately just right after 1600 hours. It was a large, long, similar to a Goodyear blimp, flat and gray, and it was observed above the airstrip near Point Magoo, parallel with the freeway.
Okay. Beautiful. We'll take care of it.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
All righty, bye.
Bye. This is the UFO Reporting Center in Washington.
Oh,
We would like very much to hear about your sighting last night.
well, I was telling my husband I didn't pay any attention to it till I read the paper tonight, and another lady it said in the paper, had seen two objects in the Camarillo area.
Is that the Ventura paper?
No, it's the Oxnard.
Okay.
And when I was leaving work at Point Magoo, I happened to see, I don't know if it was the same thing she saw. I'm just, they remind me of what I had seen. Was a very large gray object. To me, my first thought was a blimp, but it had no writing on the side, and it was very flat, and it was moving very slowly, and it was moving parallel with the freeway. And when I got around the airstrip at the base of Magoo, because I wanted to see what it was nowhere in sight. And I didn't think another thing of it until I read in the paper, and that was around 4 and 4:10, and this lady said she saw them on Lewis Road, which was in Camarillo, about 4:30. And it just struck me, my husband said, well, call, so I did.
Okay, now, did this object have any lights on it, colored lights?
No, I saw nothing at all.
Did you see any openings?
No.
Appendages?
Because, see, I was at that's why when I went around the airstrip, I was hoping to get a closer look at it.
Yes.
You know, and I could see nothing. It was just plain gray. I just saw no windows or anything.
No appendages or anything?
No.
I see. Okay.
It was cloudy because we've had fog out here, and I could just see it moving. It seemed to be moving very slowly, but like I said, when I got around the airstrip, it was nowhere in sight. I couldn't see it anywhere.
Okay, now, do you have any idea of the altitude and the distance from you?
Oh boy, from me, to me it looked, like I said, it was running parallel with the freeway. I would estimate about, I'm very bad at distances, a mile and a half.
Okay.
You know, I was on the Navy base, so I'm not sure. 1.5 miles or 2 miles from where I was to the freeway.
Well,
That's
now,
where it looked.
if there was fog in the area, would you consider this object to be fairly low then to be seen?
Yes, it wasn't high in the air, you know, like, it didn't look like it was way up,
Right.
put it that way, because I could see it, and like I said, we've had foggy weather, not thick fog, but, you know, that drizzly fog that you get out here, and
Right.
I could see it. I would hesitate to say how far up it was. It didn't look like it was very high up. I mean, it wasn't low, but it was low enough for me to see.
Okay, now, could you estimate its size by comparing it with something that you know?
Well, like I said, the first thing I thought of was the Goodyear blimp.
It would be as long as the blimp?
That's what it looked like to me.
Okay, that's about 206 feet long.
Yeah. That was my very first thought was it was a blimp, and I couldn't see anything else in the area.
Right.
And
Now, what time did that happen?
This was around 4.
About 4 p.m., okay. Now, how long do you think you watched that?
A minute, maybe, because I was at the light, and I happened to see it, and I was trying to come, as I went down the strip, trying to look through my window to see it better, and it disappeared.
In other words, it disappeared after your observation was broke off.
Yeah,
okay.
It was just within minutes, you know, and it was gone. And I never thought a thing about it, you know, until I read that in the paper. I thought, boy, that was just prior to when I had seen it. And, of course, Lewis Road is headed out towards Camarillo, which is the way it was headed. And this lady said she saw 2, one on Lewis Road, one over the mountain. I only saw the one. Of course, I wasn't looking around for another one either. But
right.
It was so funny because it was so close to the time I had seen it, and that's the way it was headed, that the time was, you know, like right in the same time area, which would have been right.
Okay, well, we had another call yesterday from Moore Park.
Right, that's the lady that was in the paper.
Okay.
And that's what, it struck me so funny, the coincidences, you know. I didn't see, she said they had red writing on it, but I was too far away. I could see nothing underneath it.
Yes, okay, beautiful. Okay, you were the only one in the car?
Yes.
Have you talked to anybody else that might have seen this on the base?
No, I was just reading the paper like half hour ago and was talking to my husband, and he said, well, call, you know. You don't think I was a little weird, but it was so funny because of the time, you know, and she described exactly what I had seen, you know. I thought, I'll call.
Well, this is great because these multiple witness cases are the ones that we're constantly looking for.
Oh.
Okay, and of course, this object was moving straight. No motions, no maneuvers of any kind?
Not that I could see it. To me, it was moving parallel with the freeway.
Okay, would that be between the freeway then and the airbase, right?
Yes.
The field, okay.
Well, no, let me see, the air base, and then it's the freeway. It was moving parallel with the freeway.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, we sure appreciate your talking to us, and if we need additional information, could we feel free to call back?
Sure, fine.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Did,
Uh-huh.
and yet we keep trying to thrash it over, thinking, oh well, it's probably Forest Service or what would be. I wonder what that would be. That would be such a bright orange and great big headlights at the top of a mountain that's 7,000 feet high.
Was this appear to be Sitting on top of the mountain?
It came up over a mountain range. Are you familiar with the Kalispell area?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Well, that is the Rocky Mountain range right there. And she saw this about 2 o'clock in the morning. And so we keep, like I say, keep talking it over, thinking, oh, well, it's nothing, just, but it was, she said it's so huge. It was so huge, wouldn't likely be maneuvers, night maneuvers, and I thought, well, I'll ask you, do they have that in the Forest Service? Night maneuvers that you know of?
No, the Forest Service wouldn't have anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
When did this happen?
Well, it was, let's see, last week, a week ago yesterday, a week ago last night.
Is the party who saw it available?
Yes, she's available. I don't know if she wants to.
I'd like to talk to her.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Would you like to describe what you saw?
Yes. Do you get many calls on UFOs?
Yes, ma'am.
The right department?
A lot of calls.
Yeah. Well, this was, like she said, 2 o'clock it would have been Saturday morning. And I saw it from Summers, which is about 10 or 15 miles from the mountain range. And it was a big orange glow up on top of the highest peak. And there was a separate orange glow on this side of which would have been on the west side of the mountain.
Uh-huh.
And, I probably watched that for maybe 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, I don't know. And then from the east side came 2 great big headlights in the middle of this big orange glow coming up over the mountains from the east side.
Now, they came out of the glow?
They came, it was like this orange glow was one big light ray.
Okay.
And then these 2 huge headlights right in the center.
Okay.
Come up over the mountain towards me. And this smaller orange blob on this side of the mountains moved up and joined forces with this other whatever that was coming over the mountain.
You mean they merged?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it was kind of a thinner ray, which I assume it was turning around when these 2 joined. And then it went back east, back over on the other side of the mountain. And then I could see the black silhouette of the mountain against this light ray, this orange glow. And then it started moving to the south and up high.
Okay.
And I watched it for probably a half hour, all told.
Okay, now the largest glow, the highest one, did that have any particular shape?
No, it didn't. No.
Just a large glob of light?
Right.
Okay. Now how about the smaller one?
The smaller one, they laugh at me. The only way I can describe it is one of these canvas wine containers that they squirt wine into their mouth, you know?
Yes.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
With that sort of shape.
Uh-huh.
It was kind of a pear shape, yes. And
okay.
I don't remember whether the peak of that pear-shaped object was connected to the other or not. I don't know. I can't say that it was, and I can't say that it wasn't.
Okay, now in comparison, how much smaller was the small object compared to the large one?
Oh, the smaller one was, it's so hard for me to describe size from that distance. It was very small compared to the big orange glow.
Okay, do you have any estimate of how big the other one was? Could you compare it with any object?
Well, let me see. If you can imagine a big orange light on the other side of the peak of Mount Rainier.
Uh-huh.
Something like that. I mean, it lit up the sky to a certain extent. You could see streaks of white clouds, and then dark, and then white clouds.
Okay.
And but the sky was just light. It wasn't an orange reflection that far up to see the clouds. The orange was pretty well centered around the top of the mountain.
Did the intensity of that light remain the same at all times?
Yes, it did.
Did it reflect itself off the surface of the ground at all that you could see?
Not that I could see.
Okay. But how long did you watch that?
Well, like I say, it must have been close to a half hour.
Okay. And were you the only witness to this?
During the biggest part of the light, I was. I finally went in and woke up my sister because there has been a lot of talk in that area of seeing these objects. In fact, I have a sister coming in tonight that has seen one. And she finally got up, and her first thought was the moon, but it definitely wasn't the moon, and it wasn't in the right location for moon.
Uh-huh.
And then she watched it with me for another 15, 20 minutes as it moved south and up. But she could see the light reflection and so on in the back.
Did you see any aircraft in the sky at the time?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate this report, and if your sister would be in the mood, we'd like to hear from her tomorrow if she would like to talk about that sighting.
Well, fine. I'm sure she'd be glad to, because we were vacationing back there, and I talked to her in the morning and described what I had seen. This was Saturday morning, early, and she said, well, that's very similar to what she had seen just not too long before that.
Uh-huh.
And it seems to be quite a common occurrence back there.
Well, we've been getting quite a few calls from northwestern Montana.
Is that right?
Up around Libby and Kalispell and Missoula and so forth.
And no idea as to what it could be, any logical explanation for it. Huh?
Not for what you have seen, no. Sometimes when we get objects that have some kind of a shape, well, we can come up with some kind of an answer, but when it involves just a large mass of light, why, we must assume that it's an energy field of some kind surrounding a very unconventional object.
Well, it definitely was, and when I first looked at it and just saw the orange reflection, naturally you're curious and wonder. But when these two headlights come up over the mountain, then that kind of sent chills up your back, because it was definitely round light, you know.
Okay, now that was 2 a.m., that was last Saturday morning, right?
Yeah.
That would be the 18th.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate your call.
All right, fine.
And we'll be looking forward to hearing from your sister.
All right, just a moment. Oh, she was wondering if that was an east number or if you were in the south end.
No, we're in the south end.
South end.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine. Well, we'll have they're due to drive in here just any moment, so we'll. Can they call you? Are you there 24 hours a day?
Yes.
All
but
right.
Specifically tomorrow, if you can make it.
Okay. Would you like for us to ask for you, or?
No, anyone that's on duty.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
Fine.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.